In this week's edition of Take on Tech, we explore the latest developments shaping Africa's digital transformation, from regional tech summits and youth digital literacy programs to groundbreaking innovations redefining finance and agriculture. It's a story of resilience, creativity, and progress as the continent continues to assert itself as a global technology leader. Africa's technology and business elite are preparing to converge in Naivasha for the CIO 100 Symposium and Awards 2025, set to take place from November 19th to 21st at Enashipai Resort and Spa. Now in its 17th year, the CIO 100 Symposium has grown into Africa's most prestigious stage for celebrating IT leadership and innovation. Hosted by CIO Africa by DX5, the event recognizes organizations and visionaries driving digital transformation, resilience, and measurable impact across the continent. According to Harry Hare, chairman of CIO Africa by DX5, Africa's digital journey has evolved from technology adoption to leadership, a sentiment reflected in this year's strong shortlist of finalists. The 2025 symposium will host over 300 technology executives, innovators, and decision makers from key sectors including finance, telecoms, government, energy, and transport. With the theme Tech Leadership in the Age of AI and Digital Resilience, this year's discussions will explore how Africa's enterprises are deploying emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, automation, and cloud computing to improve efficiency, enhance customer experience, and strengthen digital ecosystems. The event will also unveil insights from the CIO 100 Megatrends 2025 report, highlighting what high-performing digital enterprises are doing differently to stay ahead in a rapidly evolving tech landscape. Meanwhile, YouTube is updating its policy on violent video game footage to better protect younger audiences. Beginning November 17th, the platform will enforce age restrictions on videos depicting graphic violence involving realistic human characters. The policy will apply to scenes showing torture, mass killings, or other acts where the focus is on human suffering rendered on lifelike details. Previously, video game violence was treated differently from real-world content, but as game becomes increasingly realistic, YouTube says the distinction is less clear. Creators may now see their videos age-restricted if they include prolonged or close-up scenes of violence against non-combatant humans, or if their imagery appears too realistic. Brief moments of gameplay violence will generally remain unaffected. To avoid restrictions, YouTube is advising creators to edit or blur particular graphic sequences. The company says the changes aim to ensure age-appropriate viewing experiences as gaming visuals evolve. In addition, YouTube is strengthening its rules around gambling-related content, limiting videos that promote online betting, NFTs, or casino-style games to adult audiences. From policy updates to Africa's biggest digital gathering, all eyes are now on Africa Tech Festival 2025, which returns to the Cape Town International Convention Center from November 11th to 13th. Now marking its 28th edition, the festival brings together over 15,000 tech leaders, policymakers, investors, startups, and visionaries to explore the future of Africa's digital economy. This year's focus is on cybersecurity and cloud resilience, two critical areas shaping how the continent manages digital risk and data protection. Sessions such as the state of cybersecurity in Africa, threats, gaps, and opportunities, and The quantum threat is now. Rethinking encryption before it's too late. We'll examine the continent's security readiness and how collaboration between governments and enterprises can enhance digital resilience. Organizers have also spotted inclusion with special sessions like empowering women in cybersecurity, breaking barriers and building leadership. Beyond technology, discussions will emphasize responsible innovation, connectivity for development, and policy harmonization, all aimed at building a secure, connected, and inclusive digital Africa. Back in Kenya, Tatu City is nurturing the next generation of digital innovators through its new after-school artificial intelligence program.
Today we are launching our Tatu City after-school AI program. As at the same time, we are graduating our first cohort of student graduates who have undergone the same program for about 13 weeks, about 2 months. And this is to mark the launch of this program here in Tatu City, where we are calling it the After Schools AI program, where we're getting kids from the community, from the public schools and other schools around Tatu City, where they can come and be taken through the basics of AI after the schooling, after the school lessons, and give them another scope, another view, another perspective of the digital economy and the digital world and the opportunities out there.
Skilling is one of the key components for the emerging technology space that the Ministry of ICT is really looking at and focusing on, especially in the sector and space of AI. So this year we launched our Kenya National AI Strategy, and that shows how government is really keen and focused to really take advantage of AI as the next frontier, because these are the jobs of the future. So if we don't prepare for them, then Kenya as a country cannot play or be a key player in that sector.
The inaugural cohort, 20 students from Tatu Primary School, completed a 13-week course in web development and AI.
From the ages between 14 to 15 years, all students are from Tatu Junior School here in Tatu City. As part of the curriculum, they were learning front-end web development. Front-end web development is just a subsection in software development. We've had them for 14 weeks. They have learned HTML, CSS, and just a little bit of JavaScript. And with this knowledge, they have been able to build websites, a number of websites. This is very lucrative, especially in the digital world that we are getting into. And it's also important for them to learn these things now, because it opens up their minds to different career options that they can pursue, as this is the time that they are now choosing. We are heading into the digital age as at now, and we need more young people.
Since 2023, the Tatu City Training Academy has offered free vocational training to more than 600 community members, and this AI program marks a strategic shift towards future-oriented, tech-driven education.
FarmSky Ventures is transforming everyday Kenyans into farm investors, linking the city wallets to the rural soil. By connecting investors to vetted farmers and the farmers to the suppliers, this platform is not only growing crops, but also livelihoods, sustainabilities, and local economies. Here's more.
Founded by Boniface Nelwal, FarmSky is revolutionizing how banks, microfinance institutions, and individual investors fund smallholder farmers through a digital, risk-managed platform. The company's model integrates fractional lending, crop-embedded insurance, and agroecological risk analytics to make agri-finance transparent, traceable, and scalable. It begins by vetting farmers and cooperatives through detailed credit profiling and environmental assessments. Once approved, loans are disbursed through escrow accounts directly to verified agro dealers, ensuring that inputs such as seeds and fertilizers are used appropriately.
I've worked in the space for about 6-7 years now, while working with small commercial farmers and generally smallholder farmers in Africa. One of the biggest problems is one, being able to scale their farms into profitable businesses. To do this, it requires capital to increase the amount of inputs. It requires capital, for example, to increase the size of land that they're growing in. But more importantly, they need to scale this if they have to, for example, sell directly to the market. Ideally, small-scale farmers can achieve economies of scale to be profitable enough. So while I was working with these farmers, one of the things that I realized was they had poor access to capital. They couldn't get loans from banks or any financial institutions. And so we started thinking through how can we provide an alternative risk assessment and credit assessment tool that is customized specifically to the nature of the activity that farmers actually run. And so we built out a platform that could help financial institutions easily identify farms that are profitable and then be able to actually lend to them.
Every product is covered by insurance, while repayments are automatically triggered upon produce sale, reducing default risk and improving accountability. Investors and banks can monitor their portfolios in real time through digital dashboards, gaining full transparency into their impact and returns.
We've combined 3 elements in terms of risk assessment. So we've done what we call agroecological risk analysis, which simply is, if you want to do farming in Kajiado, what kind of risk are you exposed to, and what do you need to put in your farm to make sure that you're still able to get high yield. At basic level, for example, again using an example of Kajiado, it's a dry area. So our platform has already recognized in terms of what are the kind of rainfall that is received there. And then our platform sort of recommends which specific crops that need to be grown there. Now, at the end of the day, a few other things it recommends are things like irrigation systems. So farmers who don't have irrigation systems in this kind of areas, for example, have a higher risk exposure compared to a farmer in a different region, right? So our platform is actually able to combine these different elements and assess farmers at that very basic level in terms of whether they will be able to have better yields, have better revenues, and be able to pay their loans or not. The second bit is the basic. So we check in terms of farmers' M-Pesa statements versus farmer sales over time to be able to just help them sort of increase the kind of loans that they're able to receive. The last one is the payment process. So financial institutions, when they decide to award a farmer a loan, they don't have to think through how we're actually going to get the money to the farmer. If we give money to the farmer, where are they going to get inputs? Because we've already built a third-party infrastructure that brings all input providers on the platform and then allows farmers to actually purchase from their wallets directly. So those are the core elements that we've combined to streamline the end-to-end lending process from when you apply for the loan, when you receive the money, when you use the money to buy inputs, and more importantly, the third party also allows buyers to plug in and see what you're producing so that when they need to purchase, they can actually purchase on the platform and pay farmers directly. So that's an end-to-end process in the lending and also the production process. But more importantly, by allowing banks and lenders to be able to visibly see where their funds are actually going to be spent in, right? If it's DAP, they're going to be able to see, we budgeted for 1,000 is what was spent for DAP. We budgeted for CAN, for 3,000 is what is actually spent for CAN. So there's also visibility and trust that farmers are building with the financial institutions that are lending to them. And this is what continues to help farmers grow their credit and their credibility to financial institutions that lend to them. The last thing that I didn't mention is that we do have what we call an embedded crop insurance. So every farmer who receives loan on our platform also gets a crop insurance that goes with it, and that covers crop failure. So this helps farmers grow resilience in terms of if, let's say, there was too much rainfall and then they lost their entire crop, that they are able to get a certain percentage of a payout to help them actually recover. So this is really how we're growing also the resilience of farmers beyond just the credit that they're receiving.
The results have been remarkable. Farmers using FarmSky's platform have reported income increases of over 30%, improved harvest yields, and reduced post-harvest losses. Beyond supporting farmers, the platform strengthens local supply chains, empowers agro-dealers, and promotes rural job creation. FarmSky's innovation has earned continental recognition, most recently showcased at the Connected Africa Summit 2025, where it received honors under the Agritech Innovation Awards. By bridging the financing gap with data-driven tools and a sustainable investment model, FarmSky Ventures is helping secure Africa's food future while demonstrating that agricultural innovation can be both inclusive and profitable. From empowering smallholder farmers and young leaders to elevating women in technology and strengthening cybersecurity, these stories remind us that Africa's digital revolution is not just about technology, it's about transformation.
What do you think about this particular innovation? A whole ecosystem growing local economies. Talk to us at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag remains We Take on Tech. We meet next week, same time, same place. Remember, tech starts here.